2 days to go, and it's time we talk about my boys, the boys in black and gold, Haas Rich Energy F1. The big change this year is not the lineup. The two teams we have left, Haas and Mercedes, obviously, is going to be tomorrow. Our final team are the only two teams on the grid to have kept the exact same driver lineup. However, there is still a massive change at Haas this year, as you can see on screen now, and you will see for the rest of the video, the rest of the season, black and gold. That is the big talking point with this team. Rich Energy has come in as a full-time title sponsor, bringing with them a brand new livery for the American team, and black and gold is back in Formula 1, the first time since 2015 where my beloved Lotus F1 left Formula 1. But now, Romain Grosjean is going to be back in a black and gold car, and as you can already probably tell in my voice, I am pretty chuffed about it. When the news broke around about the American Grand Prix last year that Rich Energy were going to come on board with Haas, there were a lot of question marks on whether they'd even be able to fund a project like this. But at the moment, so far, it seems to be going all well. The partnership seems nice and rosy, and Rich Energy are definitely quite a big character in the world of Formula 1, especially on the social media side of things, trying to really big up the team beating Red Bull this year. And while I think that would be brilliant, I would love that. A little bit unrealistic from the likes of William Story, CEO of Rich Energy, and some of the Rich Energy team over there. But they will be aiming high this year, Haas, considering last year they had the fourth best car, and I do believe that. Many mistakes from my boy Romain Grosjean, didn't score points till Austria last season. Also, that big mistake in the first race of the season in Melbourne, both cars would have been a 4th and 5th place finish for the team, the best in the team's history, ended up being a double DNF due to mistakes in the pit stop. And while I understand that, it's so annoying that they didn't get 4th in the championship, you got to consider 5th in the championship, considering they're only in their 3rd season, beating teams like McLaren, like Williams, like Alfa Romeo. They were chuffed with that, and I really think if they can even continue that this year, get 5th place again, that's a really good job for the team just in their 3rd season. As you can see on screen there, because they're only going to be in their 4th season this year, there's not really many statistics I can show you. The highest race finished is a 4th place finish, which came last year in Austria, which was Grosjean's first points of the season. They've had no pole positions, but one fastest lap, courtesy of Kevin Magnussen last year. The power unit they use is a Ferrari power unit, based in North Carolina, USA. Their team chief, and let's say, again, is another big character in the world of Formula 1. Gunther Steiner has definitely made his opinions available for the world to see, let's be honest, in the Netflix documentary series. I've not really mentioned it too much, to be fully honest with you, but big poundings from Steiner all about Grosjean last year, and a few people have sent me some tweets and in the comments what I thought about that series, especially in relation to Grosjean. And, I'm probably slightly biased, but I also felt the Netflix series was slightly biased in the other way. I think the series did a really good job in capturing some of the lesser-known parts of Formula 1 and stuff that us really die-hard fans notice, but maybe some more casual fans don't notice. And obviously, a lot of the emphasis of that series was on Haas. That's sort of why I left it for today to discuss, because last year, we are all aware, Grosjean had a terrible start to the season, multiple crashes. Ericsson hit him in the back in Azerbaijan. Disgusting move from Ericsson. For new fans, that's a bit of a meme, unfortunately. Grosjean crashed himself out, unfortunately, and the team radio guy blamed it on Ericsson. He also had that mega crash in Spain. Silverstone also had a bit of an incident as well, and in the US. But in the second half of the season, Grosjean did a much better job than Magnussen, who, in the complete opposite fashion, started the season off so well and then drifted off in the second half of the year, and we didn't really see him all that much. And the qualifying battle actually went the way of Romain Grosjean. It was very close, but he outscored him 11 times, Magnussen 10 during qualifying. So I think this is a really good lineup for Haas this year. However, I think both of them are on their final chance. Grosjean really let himself down at the beginning of last year. Magnussen's first year with Haas was pretty awful as well, and I think he went into last year showing the team he needed to prove something, which I think he did mostly for the majority of last year. But once again this year, focus will be on both of them. But I just wanted to quickly mention, I don't think the Netflix documentary perhaps showed Grosjean's turnaround in the second half of the year in the best light. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, let's start off looking at Kevin Magnussen, obviously driving for Rich Energy Haas F1, hailing from Denmark. I can't pronounce his place of birth there, but he was born in Denmark. One podium in his Formula 1 career, and that came at his very first race in Melbourne, so a track he's performed well at in the past. Driving for McLaren it was back then. It was a third place finish, which resulted in a second place overall after Daniel Ricciardo was disqualified. He scored 137 points in his relatively short career, just 82 Grand Prix entered. He'll be celebrating his 100th Grand Prix this year, but no World Championships. As I just mentioned, his highest race finish is second place, and his highest grid position is a fourth place start. Do I think those statistics are necessarily going to change this year? I don't really. I think if Haas could be on the podium, I think it could be possible this year, but I don't think it's going to be a second place. I certainly don't think they'll be picking up a win this year, and I don't really believe they're going to get a highest grid position of fourth or above. That would be highly unlikely unless there's some sort of crazy wet weather changing conditions. I don't really see it happening. However, that being said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Haas this year. Like I say, they are the team I like, so I'm trying to be as impartial as I can. Magnussen is definitely not my favourite driver, but I think his target, once again this year, will try to be to aim to be the best of the rest, which is going to be another difficult fight up against the likes of Renault. But his main target, and I suppose the main target for Grosjean as well, is to beat his teammate, because I really do feel at the end of the year, the team are going to want a little reshuffle, perhaps bringing in maybe a younger driver, maybe someone who's at a contract that they feel really deserves a chance in Formula 1. So both of them on thin ice, and my boy Grosjean, racing country is France, but he was born in Geneva, Switzerland, has got 10 podiums, and I was lucky to be there for his very last podium. I was at that race live, is what I mean by that one, back in 2015 in Spa. 381 points scored overall in 145 Grand Prix. His highest race finish is second place, which he's managed to do twice. Didn't quite get that win at Lotus back in the day. Kimi Raikkonen was able to pick up two, but as we know then, Grosjean, known as a bit of a crash master, and unfortunately that title has come back to him this year, and hopefully he can shake it off. But I know a lot of fans and a lot of highlight reels from last year love the fact he was causing crashes, so I'll allow it for now. His highest grid position is a second place also when he was back at Lotus. His highest really race finish for Haas is a fourth place, which came last year in Austria. Can he get Haas's first podium this year? And I think, like I just said with Magnussen, it's entirely possible. I really do think this year, on their day, the likes of Haas, the likes of Renault, could be beating Red Bull if the partnership with Honda doesn't quite work out as expected. And I think as well, it's their first year, so you've got to give them a little bit of leeway. So if a team like Haas can make good on a particular race day, like in Azerbaijan, like even Melbourne last year, if those boys had just stayed in the race, maybe one of those little safety cars could have really helped them out with some strategy, and they could have got it. But who is going to win in the head-to-head? I can't win here. I can't win, because if I say Magnussen, I'm betraying the Grosjean army. If I say Grosjean, I'm a fanboy. Well, I think if you've followed this channel for a while, you know I'm happy to be called a fanboy. So Grosjean is going to win this one. Absolute landslide. World champion material. If I'm being honest, I think it's going to be close. I do really think it's going to be super close between these two. A lot of people will disagree with me with that, I understand that, but if Grosjean continues the form he had at the end of last year, and Magnussen refines the form he had at the beginning of last year, they're going to be so close. And looking at the pace they had in Melbourne last year, these guys are going to be fighting for that best of the rest title. That'll be the target. As always, in the top right hand corner, you can vote for who you think will win this teammate battle, but please vote for Grosjean. That would make me very happy and put a smile on my face. And if you haven't seen this week, up on the community page on YouTube, I've been putting up the scores for each and every team and driver. A few surprises actually, who you think is going to win in those teammate battles, so you can check those out. But all you do, click the little I button in the top right hand corner and you can vote for who you think is going to win the teammate battle. But please vote for Grosjean. That is it for the second to last preview. Tomorrow will be the final one, Mercedes, and then Friday the season is here, and my first preview for the season, the Australian Grand Prix preview, will be live on YouTube. As always, you can join the F1/eReviews Fantasy League over on the Formula 1 official Fantasy F1 2019. There is the league code, and all the links and the code will be in the description to make it easier for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final 2019 preview.